Hey guys, welcome back to Banter Bets and BPL, a positive betting podcast. It's hard to do, but these guys that you see on the screen here that you're about to listen to, these guys have been putting in the work all season for you listeners. And if you made every single one of all of our bets, you'd be going against yourself on a few weeks, as we sometimes go against each other, but you'd be up $144.79. Couldn't be prouder of these guys. And we got brother Keegs, another good week. Coach Cam and Sandy had down week, but Coach Cam's been on the grind lately. Sandy's been hasn't had the hottest season betting, but he's bringing some quality banter, and that's part of the podcast as well. So let's go to brother Keegs. Brother Keegs, good week. You why don't you tell us a little bit about your crazy parlay that had a slight chance of hitting? That must have been pretty exciting.
Well, yeah, it was the $2 parlay that paid out $2,000, and I think it started with no team to score between Wolves and whoever they played, which came through nice. And then I had Leeds to beat City, which was the highest odds one, like the lowest probability, which came through. And then West Brom, I had them to win, which came through as well. So, and then the ones that didn't hit was Welbeck to score. But the one that lost it for me was, I believe I had Newcastle to win and under 2.5. So I guess as soon as Burnley scored the first goal, there's no way that could have happened. But apart from that, hit every other bet other than the Spurs 0-0 that you guys forced me to do. So I should really be at 50, but you guys forced me to do that one against my will. Yeah. That was the only other bet I lost. So it was a decent week.
I still think that was a good bet, Spurs 0-0, and that's the first great grandma loss to lose. So
I thought that was given out a little loosely there.
Yeah, I was confident in that one, but the VAR angered the Manchester United beast. We'll get into that more a little bit later. And they
did their best to keep it at 0-0.
Yeah, they didn't really care about the game until the VAR blunder, and then they're like, "Oh, okay, we'll actually start caring now." Coach Cam, down week, but looking at your number here, we're still up 80 on the season.
Yeah, it's kind of reminds me a little bit of Erling Haaland in the Champions League, like super hot, super hot, scoring all these goals, and then you're just eventually not going to score, and that's just what happened this week. But I'm looking to come out this week. I have some pretty nice bets. I may or may not have a Cam special appearing this week. I saw one of the games that really look like it's going to happen. So, but yeah, Everton screwed me over a little bit because, as I was telling you guys earlier, if Everton won, I would have won my 2-team parlaying, was up $52, but they lost. So I ended up not winning any of my bets. Or they drew, right? 0-0 to Brighton. So anyway, on to a new week.
All right, there you go. A man who's never short of confidence compares himself to Haaland. First time on the pod, and you need that confidence if you're going to win these bets. So there you go. Also a man who's never too short on confidence, although the balance has been not quite following. Sandy, just a tough season, or what's going on here, buddy?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm a man of principle. I'm pretty rigid in my betting. I got teams I like, and I don't really change my tactics too much. And lately I've been liking Everton, Burnley, and Southampton. Those are kind of my go-tos, and they pretty much lose every week. So it's tough to win when your dogs are just losing every week. So I'm gonna have to. I'm cutting my old habits this week. I'm have a brand new slate, different teams I usually bet on, and I'm feeling good here.
Jeez, I feel like we might have heard this before. Pardon me if that's untowards, but
I mean, I've bet Burnley probably like 3/4 of the games this year, and they suck. Like, they're so bad.
A sudden realization, game week 33. Don't bet Burnley every week, but there we go. Yeah. I don't know. It'll turn around, I think. You don't really have bad bets. You just have bad beats. So there you go. And finally, buried the lead a bit here because returning to the show, recurring guest, we got the Podfather, Bill Ezard.
Hi, everybody.
Yeah. I mean, Dad, last time you were on the pod, you won money as well. So everyone's winning money on the Banter Bets and BPL pod.
They're giving it away, these sites, I think.
Yeah, no kidding. Been crushing the bookies. Yeah, excited to have Bill on to provide some expert analysis on some games, and also we needed the presence of a father, as if you guys were following in the news, Jose Mourinho, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer going at it about fatherhood and how to be a good father. So we thought we'd bring one of the good ones on and get his perspective on it as well. So that's coming up a little bit later as well. So why don't we get into the banter of the games here? We got a nice slate. I think it's a little bit longer in fantasy. It's a bit of a weird fantasy week, but we will be betting on games that encompass this game week 33. I think it is, boys. Game week 33 in fantasy.
32.
32 in fantasy. So we're going to be going from tomorrow when we got Everton Tottenham all the way to next Thursday. I think there's games every single day for the next week. So it's a bit of a longer slate, but get those bets in early and we'll try and win some money for you guys. So tomorrow, lunchtime for the Pacific Coast boys, Everton, Tottenham. Yeah, I don't know. This is traditionally a pretty even game. I don't mind the money. I don't mind the number on the draw. We'll get into the bets a little bit later, but I'm going to start off with you, Sandy. I know you've been following Everton a little bit lately. Not to very much success. These guys they flirt with you, they get you to bet on them, and then they let you down. I don't know. My question for you is just simple. What are Everton? What do they do? What's the point of them? Why does Everton exist as a football team, basically?
Well, first of all, I'd just like to say that saying that I am a follower of Everton is probably disrespectful to followers of Everton, because I bet them every week, but I can't say I've honestly watched one of their minutes probably in the last few months. So I don't exactly know what's going on the field. What I do know is that I'm in love with this bet this week. And the reason for that is I think I've bet them the last 3 weeks and lost every one. And just one of my betting philosophies is if you're losing a lot on one team, you got to keep hammering them till eventually they win, because you don't want to win that 1 week. I've been running with the Leafs this week too, so the Leafs just lost like their 4th in a row. So I don't really care what's going on the field, like how bad they're playing. I'm just gonna bet them regardless.
I thought, weren't you just starting off the show by saying how you're changing all that?
They're the exception. I'm dropping my other bad habits, but this one.
So you like them here at home against Spurs?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. Is Calvert-Lewin healthy this week or what? Are you still out?
I don't know. It didn't seem like a serious injury. Pike would be the guy to ask about that. That's his boy in fantasy, so not 100% sure. But yeah, I don't know. It should be a decent game. Was it the start of this season that Everton beat Spurs? This is the game week 1. I believe they did. So looking to do the double over Spurs. On the Tottenham side of things, for a boring team, there's certainly a lot of talking points about Tottenham these days. And I think that's kind of how Jose Mourinho manages, with a lot of quotes, a lot of talking points. My question for you, Dad, is, and so obviously we know last week Spurs, Son caught a flailing finger to the cheekbone perhaps, and went down like he'd been shot. And United score a great goal. It's called back for that flailing finger, the flick of McTominay. So I had written down here, Dad, is Son wrong for this, for going down easy? Or is the system wrong because referees and VAR go back and reward these guys that are going down easily? And they know, the smart players, Salah does it, Bruno Fernandes do it. All these players know if you go down, especially with the VAR cameras on you, you're going to get the call. So is Son at fault here? What needs to change, the system or the players?
Well, in my opinion, it's the system that has to change, because the players, I don't think, like as a kid, you guys don't practice diving, unless you're making a joke of it. You don't know to go down at the slightest touch. It's something that's learned, and it's learned from watching the players do it. Now, if the ref's not going to call it, the players are going to get up. It happened years ago before you guys. Do you remember Claude Lemieux when he played for Montreal Canadiens in hockey? He would always go down injured. Well, the coach of Montreal finally didn't send the trainer out because he knew he was faking it. So he lied there for a couple minutes, and then he had to get up and skate off in the skate of shame and leaving the ice. And I think that this is what's happening is these players do get rewarded from it. You know, you go down like that. And I mean, it's one of those things where it's hard to tell. Like if Son would have got poked in the eye, yeah, sometimes like you will go down, but you don't lie down for 5 or 10 minutes. Like you've got a broken neck or something and your career is going to be over, you know? So there are little things that don't necessarily look like they hurt, but they might hurt for a second, you know? Compare it to hockey, like since we're North Americans here, you know, like he stayed on the ice after he took that shot to the ankle. But I mean, he just stood there, right? And then all you have to do is just, when you're skating, you could still move without having to put in any effort. You can't always do that when you're running, right? But guys go off the ice and they get off the ice. In here, there's no advantage for you to be limping around. You know, if you go down, and first of all, if you yell and scream, there's a good chance that it's going to be a foul. How many games did you see this week? I know in the first leg of the Liverpool-Real Madrid game, Sané went up to the defender, and the defender started yelling before Sané even got there. They collided. Mane, sorry. Sadio Mane is what I was thinking. Yeah, the sad man. And before he even got there, he started yelling, and he ran into Mane, but he got the foul because he yelled and screamed. You know, so he's rewarded for it. So what are you going to do again? Well, you're going to do it. You know, if you're going to go down in the box, and I think sometimes players stay up so they don't have the reputation of going down. So you're up 4-0 on a team, and Salah gets hit in the box hard, and he stays up, and then he makes a goal and makes it 5-0. Then they think, oh yeah, that's great. But it doesn't matter if you win 4 or 5-0. But it matters for the next game. Now, when it's really tight and somebody touches him and he goes down, you know,
he's got the
he's not the kind of guy to go down. So, well, yeah, he is. Everybody is.
Everyone is at the right time. Yeah, exactly.
And you get rewarded for it. So until it ends, go back, you look at that and you say, okay, maybe he got poked in the eye, but you know what? You know, you don't need a stretcher when you got an eye poked out. You could walk off. Like, you get a yellow card for that, for riding the stretcher, you know? And until it changes, players are going to go down because they get rewarded for it. Even if a team just kicks the ball out, they get rewarded for it. I'm ranting on too much here about it, but I think it's the system. And until referees change and the league changes, because the league, like, it's tough to referee, right? They're making instant decisions. It's still tough with the VAR. You know, when a ref walks to the side, it's not him that gets to pick what replay he's watching or what speed he's doing it at, right? It's other guys that are doing it for him. And I think until, you know, players get suspended for dives after the fact and things like that, it's not going to change.
It's also, you mentioned like when the refs VAR doesn't make it easier. I feel like it's really hard to not call something when you watch it on slow motion replay 20 times in a row, and you'll be like, well, I'm seeing contact, so I have to call it because there was contact. In reality, it's a contact sport. There's not always going to be, there's going to be contact. Doesn't mean it's always a foul. But if it's slowed down on VAR, you say, oh, slightest contact in the box. Yeah, I guess it's a penalty. The guy fell.
I know, especially in the box, you know, you could flip them with a ripped piece of your jersey, and if it touches the guy and he goes down, oh yeah, that's a penalty shot. So, and I mean, I think it's, you know, different cultures are different too. Like when I remember talking to Gio, and he would say, like in Italy, like it's part of the theater of it. When a player goes down and rolls around, like the fans get into it and they look at it. So if you're going to look at it more as the theater, okay, well then, and the guy does a good performance, then that's great. But I mean, he still won't necessarily win the penalty, you know, but it makes good TV watching him roll around and everybody kind of yell at him. It's kind of funny. So, but if you're looking at it as a sporting perspective, it's never going to change until the authorities want to do something about it.
Yeah. Fair point. All right. Oh, Brother Keegs with a raised hand. Proper etiquette. We like to reward that here. Brother Keegs, what you got?
I just got two quick points to add to that. The first one that Bill kind of touched on, which drives me absolutely wild, is when a player goes down injured, and I mean 99 times out of 100, it's just an innocuous, nothing's wrong with them, and then your team kicks the ball out to let them, and it just drives me wild. I'm like, why are we kicking the ball out? They're faking an injury. We're just helping them out. Like, let's just keep playing. Let him get up and walk back. Like, and then if he's truly hurt, it's the ref's responsibility to stop it. So I think that whole idea that you need to kick the ball out when your opponent's injured, I think that just needs to be completely taken out of the game. And I think people need to realize that you're just rewarding your opponent for being soft. And then the other quick point that I wanted to make is really when it boils down to it, every single problem in soccer can be traced back to the referees. The referees are the only thing that's wrong with soccer, and everything stems from that. Diving, match fixing, and everything just comes back to referees, honestly.
Yeah.
And I mean,
who needs refs? Get rid of them all.
Jesus.
I think every single person, every single one of us has probably looked at a game and been like, you know what, I'm going to become a referee and I'm going to be different. And then it's just, I'm going to go referee a game and it's going to be a WrestleMania before I call a foul like that.
Yeah. Hey, WrestleMania this Sunday. True. Nice way to work that in, Keegs.
Was it last
Sorry,
Sunday?
Yeah, last Sunday. Sorry,
Last Sunday.
is what I meant.
Didn't Sandy's dad do that in the Kenora tournament? Doesn't he ref like that?
Those refs need to be promoted and get the top.
Yeah, you got to go to Kenora men's league tournament to find refs that know what a foul is.
You let one team play like that.
Yeah, I've experienced firsthand one of the craziest fouls I think ever at the Kenora tournament. And Liam, you know, when I got absolutely annihilated in the box, but
yeah,
I was like, I'm never going down ever again. That's fucking, I'm just going to stay off now. So I think goes on the right track. You have to either find the players after the fact or have refs. I don't know. It's just a tough, because like it's easier for us to say that, but I can also see something happening to a player and it's very serious, and them being like, okay, well, it looks like it isn't serious. And the one time that they're like, hey, we're just going to continue playing or have them not kick the ball out, like Keegan was saying, and something happens from that, then there's going to be all this media attention and those all
that's on the ref though.
But
I think it boils like, down to
I don't know, it's tough for we're kind of saying like we want both sides of the coin here, and we can't have both sides. Like we can't have refs. I don't know. I think it's tough for refs to know if it's an actual, like if someone's injured or not injured. Like that's hard to know to do, especially when, like Bill said, when players are yelping in pain, right?
Yeah, but if you're really in pain, I feel like there isn't really like you. I feel like you can know a yelp that's a pain yelp.
You also can sometimes. You could sometimes tend to tell, like when you watch a game and there's a serious injury, like when Jimenez went down, everybody stops and they yell, and the trainers are right there. You know, the players know when a serious injury, when somebody breaks his leg or goes over, you know, right away, you could tell. And when you crunch a guy and you do that to a guy, you kind of know that you've hurt him, you know. I think if you're injured bad enough that you have to have medical attention come out onto the field, then you should be off for at least 5 minutes to get more medical attention to make sure that you're fit enough to go on. Because it drives you nuts when a guy's down for 3 or 4 minutes and then you know, all of a sudden he's walking fine 2 yards from the touchline, turns around and goes right back on the field.
Yeah.
You know, leave him off for 5 minutes, give them an injury sub, you know, and take the guy out.
I think, you know, they hand out like the rule book at the start of every season. I think they also need to attack the story of the boy who cried wolf and have the players go over that. And that might help things out. I think most of them weren't read that when they were a kid, and it's showing. All right, that's a long bit on an Everton Tottenham game. We'll probably get through these rest of these games a little bit quicker. Let's start off with, let's not start off. Let's move on to Newcastle West Ham. Newcastle, they're showing a lot of signs of life. So Coach Cam, Newcastle last week, they have St. Maximin and Wilson on the bench, and they don't start them. but then they bring him on, and obviously their two best players, they change the game instantly. They turn it around, 1-0 down, win 2-1. So is this a Steve Bruce masterclass genius to bring on his two best players when the opposition's tired, or is this Steve Bruce not knowing what he's doing and not starting his best players and getting bailed out by luck? Which is it?
This is a tough question. But I'm going to give Steve Bruce the benefit of the doubt and say that it's actually a masterclass.
Ooh.
A combination of factors, though. I think that like when you're managing or coaching at that level, like you have the experience, and you also have. It's not just him sitting at his house doing this. You know what I mean? He has so many other coaches, other statistics, like analysts giving him, I don't know, helping him. So I think it wasn't just him himself thinking, like, no, I think I'm going to do this. Like, probably had a lot of influence.
Decision, though.
Right? I know he has the ultimate decision, but I think like he probably had a lot of influence, because not just from like the staff, but also probably from the players as well. Because this isn't something that's really seen that often. That'd be like, I don't know. I know they both have gone back from injury too, so that plays a factor as well. Callum Wilson and St. Maximin, so he's probably thinking, okay, well, this is a good chance for me to rest them and use them if needed. I know United has done that a couple of times too, where they haven't played Bruno and Rashford, and then they sum them back in, they'd come back and win games. So it's kind of like the same thing there. Like, we're not going to use them unless we need them. That being said, Maximin was absolute class, wasn't he? That game, he came on, he was fucking prime Kaká. Like, he was unbelievable when he came on the field, and that's great for his own confidence. But I think that's just helps Steve Bruce a little more.
He's not short on confidence anyway.
That helps Steve Bruce and what he did a little more, because leaving out your two best players, it's very risky to do something like that, because if you go behind, it's hard to come back in that manner. So. But yeah, I think it wasn't stupidity at all. I think it was definitely planned out, and I definitely have to give some credit to his other staff members as well, because I don't think it was easy for him to just be like, okay, we're going to do this, and maybe the players themselves had influence as well. But yeah,
there you go. On the other side of things, West Ham keep rolling on. The unlikely story, the unlikely top four chance. Jesse Lingard scores. Will he score one or two more?
Two, I think.
Two? Yeah, it's hard to keep track of how many goals he's banging in lately. My question for you, Keegs, Lingard watch. Will he play for Man United next season? Kidding. Of course, I've asked you that one already twice. So
our weekly update. We gotta let people know.
Are you sure, Keegan? Yeah, you just haven't been answering it right.
Maybe England? Is he gonna make the England team? Stuck with every week.
So I was thinking about Lingard this week, and I was drawing the comparison with Bruno from last season, because Bruno came to United in January last season, and many people were saying Bruno to United, even though it was in January, was the signing of the season, right? And it's kind of interesting, the parallel of how the guy whose emergence, Bruno, is one of the best mids in the league, has kind of was the last nail in the coffin for Lingard leaving on loan a year later. And now Lingard might be the signing of the season, and he's a January signing. Do you think he is the signing of the season, Keegan?
Well, I did a deep dive, very deep dive into the statistics on this one. Don't worry, Sandy, I won't mention expected goals, but so I was kind of looking like what other signings were there. I mean, obviously Chelsea had a couple, Watkins, Wilson, a couple decent signings. So Watkins has 12 goals, 3 assists. So he has 0.5 goal contributions per 90. Wilson, on the other hand, 10 goals, 5 assists, missed some time with injury. So he's at 0.72 goal contributions per 90. And then Lingard, with his 8 goals and 3 assists, is just demolished them all with 1.33 goal contributions per 90 minutes. What a fantasy pick. It's definitely the fantasy signing of a season for Kieran, turned his season around. Good for him. And admittedly, when Lingard signed, I was like, that's just
me neither.
Probably that's got bust written all over it. I mean, he's probably going to be their like 6th or 7th best attacking midfielder.
I
I also got to shout out Timo Verner, who, as we all know, was also signed this season with 5 goals and 6 assists at 0.46 goal contributions per 90. So below all of his competitors, and in a team much higher in the standings as well. Well, at least relative to Watkins and Wilson. But the only thing stopping me from telling you right now that Lingard was the absolute signing of the season would have to be Ruben Diaz. I mean, you really hate to admit it, but I mean, he's transformational for City. So definitely the attacking signing of the season.
Fair enough. All great points, brother Keegs. You know I love it.
You took the words right out of my mouth, Keegan. I was about to stop you, but you did it. So we're okay now. We're all fine.
You know I love it when you dive deep into the pool of analysis and stats. I'm always here for that. Yeah, so love that. Yeah, I agree. There you go. Fair points. Let's move along. Wolverhampton and Sheffield United. Oh my goodness, this game makes me want to puke. 12:15 on a Saturday. I will not be watching this one, guys. I can't lie. I'm going to be out golfing at this time for sure. But I don't know. We might as well have some fun with it here. Maybe I'll have some money on it probably. But let's take a look at Wolves' season. So they're boring with Jimenez. Jimenez gets hurt. They become somehow even more boring. And then their next probably most exciting player, Neto, gets hurt this past week. Sandy, is it possible for Wolves to get even more boring now that they've lost Neto as well? Or were they already maxed out on boringness?
In isolation, I don't think Wolves could get more boring, but just the fact that they're playing Sheffield this week definitely sets them up to be like an all-time snooze fest. And the fact that this is like the Saturday night game is just hilarious to me. I couldn't believe that when I saw it. And just when I was thinking about that, and just those poor English people probably getting all hyped up for their Saturday night soccer, and then being graced with this game. For some reason, I just went down this rabbit hole, and I was like, "Do you know if there's a theme song for any of like the BBC sports games?" This is kind of off topic, but it was really bothering me because I was like, how do we have all these awesome theme songs for like every single sport in North America, and I don't know a single like soccer anthem for like any single kind of match? You know what I'm saying? You got like.
Do you mean like Fox Thursday Night Football is like
or like Canada, or like March Madness, like the Masters? Everything's all like a little jingle. And then soccer, I don't know. Like I guess like the Champions League has one. How is there not like a sick theme song for like a Saturday night BBC game or like whatever they play it on? Seems like a real missed opportunity.
Well, this is why, Sandy.
Maybe you should put one together. Yeah, get the instruments out.
There might be a window there. And I actually did some research, and the one they do have it for is the Super Sunday, and it was just shockingly bad. It was like an Adele song.
Hey, Adele's pretty good.
I think England's really dropping the ball in terms of their music selections. That's pretty much all I have for this game. Just I was thinking about the Saturday nights and the poor English people who are going to have to be forced to watch this in lockdown.
Well, that's probably more entertaining analysis than this game will be. So there you go. Thanks for spicing it up. Yeah, I don't know. Well, I mean, I have had nothing to say about Sheffield United for about 4 months, so I think we can probably move on. The under 2.5 goals in this game is only 1.61, boys. If you're not already on that, I think you should be, because there's no chance. Great grandma lock, guaranteed. There's no chance this game has more than 2 goals.
You don't think Adama Traore, he's back in form, he scored his first goal of the season last game?
Maybe he scores the 1 goal that this game has.
Adama Traore, that goal was unreal though. Did you see it last week?
Good goal or bad goalkeeping? I mean,
that goal was unreal.
People are asking the question, yeah.
I don't think it was bad goalkeeping at all. Like, I blinked. I was literally screaming at my TV when that ball went in because I bet Wolves. That was an absolute. It was literally Elon Musk on the side saying one of his spaceships to space. That's how hard that ball was hit. There's no way that was a goalkeeping error.
It honestly was. No, I mean,
it was an absolute rocket.
What do you think, Keegs? It had side spin on it, bro. A shot was side spin.
I don't know. That's tough. Like there's a
I don't-
difference between that one and like the one that Kylian Mbappe scored against Neuer. Like that was near post.
Oh,
Right?
that was terrible.
That was
That-
terrible goalkeeping, right? Like that's a goalkeeping near post error. But the one Traore was like that was an Aguero special. That was an absolute. That was fucking annihilated. That shot.
No,
I think the ball was in the net. I was like, holy man. He put nitro boost on his shoe and shot the ball. Rewatch the goal after this. You'll see exactly what I mean. It was unreal. A little off topic, but I think
I agree
Traore
with Cam.
should be. Thank you.
yeah.
Thanks, Phil.
I mean, every
it's
time a
hard to say
goalie
that,
gets
right?
beat at the near post, everyone's like, "Oh, you can't get beat at your near post." But if a guy just absolutely wires it near post, like, I don't know, it's as good a part
You
as
can
any to
get beat.
score on, right? What can you
I
do?
don't know,
Yeah.
Sandy, I've always kind of felt the way, like, wouldn't a goalie position themselves in a spot that gives the attacker or the goalie an equal chance to save it if it's back post or if it's front post? So more often than not, you're closer to your front post, but you're still giving yourself an equal chance of saving
Yeah,
it on
exactly.
either side, right? So what's the difference between them conceding front post and far post?
Good point, Keegs.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I don't really know what to say to that.
Well, yeah, if I could step in, Sandy, what do you think? You're not going to be like, "Oh man, you let it into the near post, goalie. What the hell?" But he scored on your far post. Oh, that's fine. Who cares? Like you're going to be like, "Oh, it's a goal. Damn."
Like obviously it takes more skill for the player to like curve it back post or something, but like it's not like the goalie stands in the middle of his net all the time. Like he's obviously going to know and position himself in a spot that he thinks he has the best chance of saving it on either side. So like, why don't you get more mad at the goalie when he lets it in far post? I don't know. I just feel like it should be worth the same.
He's got more time to react to the far post shot. Near post, like
maybe it has to do
just
with
whiz right by you.
Yeah. Maybe it has to do something with like the curl on the ball. Like every back post shot would be curling.
Yeah.
Like, be farther away from the goalie, curling inward, whereas a near post shot wouldn't do that. Right?
I think it depends on.
It'd be closer to the goalie curling in or just shot straight there. So maybe that.
But I think it depends on the position of the guy who's shooting, though, too, right? You know, and I think that just most of the time, if you go down one side, it's harder to hit the far post. It's a lot easier to hit the near post. So the majority of the shots are going to be near post. So a goalie should be ready for where the majority of the shots are going to be. You know, kind of like a hockey goalie who will do the butterfly and make himself big just so he gets hit by it. He doesn't save it anymore. They just get hit by it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just think that this could be the revival of Traore. That's how we started this whole conversation. I think this could be and I probably wouldn't jump on the under because I think that the revival of Traore could be a little dangerous for Wolves. Who knows?
Unless he
He's a
scores
streaky
3
player.
goals all himself, then because no one else is doing anything. So
Yeah, I don't even know. I'll be
yeah.
honest. I don't know anybody else on Wolves anymore. I'm like, who else plays on that team? I just know Traore nowadays. Who even knows who else plays? Johnny Otto, is he on that team still?
He's out for the season
for
as
the
well.
season again.
Yeah, see, so like Wolves have one player.
They had Tomato
And Donker.
walking down the right side.
All guys that are going to score.
Yeah, jeez.
Actually, I did have one more just based on something that happened today. And Wolves and Jimenez are forever going to be synonymous with Aubameyang and Arsenal in our fantasy league because Dad earlier in the season, after Jimenez's injury, managed to unload Jimenez to Kieran for Aubameyang, who was healthy at the time. Jota was part of the trade as well, I should mention, because Kieran wanted me to say it. But it was the main parts were, well, I guess it was Jimenez for Aubameyang and Jimenez and Jota for Aubameyang.
Well, it was a 6-player trade. So I got Aubameyang, Mope, and Ayew from Crystal Palace, and I gave up Jimenez, Jota, and Punky Brewster from Sheffield United there. And
Brewster.
yeah, so both Brewster and Ayew got dropped right away. But before Jota even got to play a game for Kieran, he got injured, you know, and the typical fantasy, you're out for 4 weeks, and it ended up being 3 months. And I did some stats on it. because to look at it, Jota has scored 22 points for Kieran so far this year. I had Aubameyang score 20 points in 1 week, but I lost that week. I lost that week. I have another week, though, that Aubameyang scored 15 points the same week that Mopé scored 9. I also lost that week. Aubameyang scored 10 points. I also lost that week. So when you look at the whole thing, Aubameyang has scored me 73 points. Mopé scored me 60 points. And Jota and Jimenez combined have scored Kieran 22 points. So that being
still
said,
did win the trade.
So you won the trade 100%.
Since that trade, my record's been 8 wins, 2 draws, and 11 losses. Kieran's has been 10 wins, 1 draw, and 10 losses. So he's actually been
if he didn't make the trade.
If he didn't make the trade, I'm sure I'd have been relegated with Nate, because I would have lost Jimenez. I would have lost Jota. I wouldn't have had Mopé. I wouldn't have had Aubameyang. I'd have Danny Ings, who keeps getting injured. And I have all my defenders get injured. I mean, Kieran, I guess, would have had Aubameyang a little bit, but I mean, now he's got fucking malaria. So who knows when he's going to play again. So really what won it for Kieran was not this trade. It was the Jesse
I was going to say, I think the trade helped him get Jesse Lingard.
Yeah, that's true. He wasn't so bad. Or actually, I'm pretty sure Lingard made it through waivers, one full thing. I think Kieran got him on his second waiver. So we were all sleeping. We were all sleeping.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough. Moving along. Arsenal, Fulham. Fulham, they did it again last week, brother Keegs. We've been on relegation watch ever since you gave me that bet Fulham to get relegated. The cash out's looking even better day by day. Is this bye-bye Fulham time, or are we still going to be able to see the huge matchup? Because we do have to mention they do play Newcastle on the last day.
Well,
no way.
The weekly relegation watch check in. I mean, Fulham probably, they're fresh off 3 winnable games that they probably should have won, but kind of got unlucky. I mean, obviously the Traore 93rd minute was a bit of a dagger for them there.
Yeah.
I mean, so Fulham still have 2 winnable games. Newcastle only have 1 probably winnable game. And I know I kind of talk about that every week. Obviously they play each other, in case we didn't know this already. So I don't know. I don't think they're totally sunk yet, because, I mean, if I think Newcastle's 1 win away from securing promotion at this point. So once Newcastle get that win, then they're probably safe. But the one good thing for Fulham is that Newcastle's next run of fixtures is all hard up until the second last week that they play Sheffield, then Fulham. So I mean, it could still be close, but Newcastle's just 1 win away and they play Sheffield. So probably wrapped up down there now, which kind of sucks.
It does suck. It was looking like it would be a heck of a relegation race. Fair enough, brother Keegs.
I have a couple things I want to point out here. What the hell is Scott Parker doing with his lineup selections? Like, they brought Maj in, he was balling out, he's actually looking good, and then he's just been dropped for like the last 4 weeks, and they're losing to horrible teams. It makes no sense. And same with like Lukeman. I was just thinking that if that in tandem with like the Newcastle shocking lineup selection, is there something we don't know? Are these teams trying to get relegated? Like, what is the championship offering something up or what?
Yeah, well, there is a lot of fans like that are kind of fans of yo-yo teams. Like, I've heard on podcasts, I've heard Swansea fans talk before about how they prefer to be a fan in the championship because there's less stress and less pressure. I don't know if you've listened, Dad, and heard.
Yeah, and you could see your team win every once in a while.
Yeah, and you get to see wins except for instead of going months without a win.
From the fan perspective, 100%. Like, you don't care about the financial implications of playing in the Premier League. You just want to see your team win.
Yeah,
the morale behind the city. So yeah, I could definitely see it. But I mean, you think the managers wouldn't be too concerned with the fans?
Of course. Tongue in cheek.
Unless they're getting paid off by the fans or something. The fans are paying them more than what they'd be getting paid in their next year, because they're gonna obviously get fired when they get relegated.
Yeah.
Scott Parker, not a big Fulham guy though. So,
Hey, Keegan?
If he's a Fulham, like he's like born and raised there, or what?
yeah, I don't know if I thought Parker kind of came through at Fulham. Is that
Well, no, he's been on a few teams. I thought he came through at West Ham and then ended
Yeah,
up
for some
with
reason,
Fulham.
I was thinking West Ham too.
Yeah, you might
London
be
guy, I guess. He's played for Spurs, West Ham. I think he played for Fulham and then transitioned into player manager. So
Maybe he's thinking this managerial stuff doesn't really suit me. I'm just gonna get relegated, get fired, and go work like a 9 to 5 and cheer for the team.
yeah, he'll be
Yeah,
one of the
that's it.
guys cheering them in the championship. All right. Moving along. Yeah, it was nice to see Manchester United wake up after they were hard done by, I felt, last week, and turn it on. Show Mourinho who's boss. What do I have here actually? Yeah, I don't know. I was gonna say, this is what I had. So, and we talked about the sun slap in the face. We won't do too much more on that, but I just want to bring up when Manchester United played West Brom. Keegs, I know you'll remember this one. I think Dad, you remember as well. And Diagne, because you had him in fantasy, and Diagne scored the header. It was a nice header, but he literally used Lindelof's face as almost he like reached around his head, grabbed his face, and then pulled him back to kind of get in front of him to head it in. And Lindelof stayed on his feet and was just kind of like, what happened? And he didn't go down. I can almost guarantee if he went down there like Son did, they would have called the goal back. But he stayed on his feet, and so they're like, oh, it's fine. It's not a foul.
just a bigger, badder man?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, he just wanted it more, which doesn't make sense to defend. But so yeah, it was nice to see. Just kind of supports the refs are rewarding those who go down easy. But yeah, Manchester United. Speaking of Lindelof, though, Burnley seems like the toughest possible matchup for him. He's been a little soft. Keegs, do you think this 9.0 for Burnley? I know as United fans, we don't usually bet against them, but I don't know. United have trouble with Burnley. I could see that being a cheeky bet.
I mean, Wood is probably the most underrated striker in the Premier League. If I'm being honest, I don't think he's ever. You don't ever hear anything about him, and he's at times he's just dominant over defenders physically. He physically imposes himself on defenders. So I mean, hopefully the old slab head will knock him around a little bit.
Yeah.
But I mean, I doubt it. So I don't know. I'm pretty confident. I think I have United actually in a parlay with City, greasy Manchester parlay, which I'm kind of banking on.
There you go. So the answer is no, Burnley will not win. I think you might be sweating this one out, brother Keegs, if you have that parlay though. Moving across, Monday, midday, Leeds and Liverpool. Coach Cam, I just wanted to leave this spot open for you, our resident Manchester City fan, to maybe show Leeds a little bit of love, especially your mate, Stuart Dallas, after the one he did on you this past weekend. So the floor is yours.
Okay. I just want to start by saying well done to Leeds. I think it was.
It's easy to be gracious when you've already won the league.
Yeah, I don't know if, we haven't won yet. I don't want to jinx anything, but I've always been the underdog, like work hard, the grind, bulldog of games and of teams and stuff. Like you work hard, you get rewarded. The fact that Leeds were a man down and was able to, that ball was Rafinha with the outside of his foot to put Dallas through was absolute class. And that's just pure respect for Leeds for doing that. And I think it comes down to a little bit because like I had the stats. I actually have a picture of the stats. I don't know, you guys have probably seen it. The stats between Man City and that game where Leeds had 2 shots on target and 2 goals. And it was 71% possession to 29. It was 29 goal attempts from City to 2 for Leeds. It was 2 shots on goal for Leeds, 7 for City, and then it ended up 2-1. But I don't know. I think it just the respect that Pep had for Bielsa. Like I think you mentioned it actually last podcast. There's that almost silent respect for him. Just I think it was shown. But yeah, like Leeds they played really well.
Well, and
I think City
didn't
was
Bielsa take off Bamford once with the
Yeah, immediately.
After the red.
Yeah.
right after the red. Yeah.
and they talked about that being like a genius move, because usually you want your target man to be able to hold up the ball to get a bit of relief. Well, he put his took the target man off and had guys on the wing instead to go out on the wing. Got the ball out there, and that's where the winning goal came from.
I know. It's not no secret the way that City play, where they have their fullback come into midfielder and overload the one side and push their other fullback up. So
You can get
having that didn't really surprise me. Doing that, because that's where all the space is going to be, is on the wing. Yeah, I think they played really well. I have to give a little bit of a slap to City, especially John Stones. He was at fault for one of the goals. I don't know. He was at fault for one of the goals against Borussia Dortmund as well. Well, their only goal this past week. But yeah, I think that they could have been a little more dangerous. I'm pretty sure, like, out of their 29 goal attempts, I think like 3 of them were in the box or something like absolutely ridiculous. Or like 4 of them. Like, it was, so Leeds played well. City obviously can do better. But yeah, I've just pure respect for them, and that battling back from manager. And yeah, I think the longer it stayed 1-1, the more you can kind of sense. I was saying they're sweating. I was absolutely drenched in sweat. I was sweating. I'm like, there's no way that City do not concede. This is just a typical City conceding soon type of game. You can just feel it in your bones. The longer it was 1-1, the more you're like, something's going to go down. And I think the more it was 1-1, the more belief Leeds had. And like I said, that through ball was absolute class outside the foot, and Dallas went in and scored. So well done.
It's funny that you say that, because you're talking about how you could kind of sense that Leeds were scoring. I got the sense that none of the City players thought the same. They were like, well, like when Rafinha had the ball out wide, and then Dallas was just standing in the middle, and then he's like, you know what, I'm actually just gonna go run past these 4 City defenders that are all standing still, and he just ran past them all, and they're like, oh, you guys are Leeds, we're Man City, you guys have 10 men, you're seriously not going to attack, right? And then he just ran by all of them and scores, and then they're like, oh shit, what?
Yeah, I gotta say, that's a great point, Keegs. The overconfidence might have killed them, but I mean, at halftime and after that red, I was thinking, like, of all the teams, Leeds is not the team that has it in them to sit behind the ball and defend resolutely for 45. I thought it was over. I was in agreement with, I think it was Tim Sherwood saying, yeah, this game's done. Thought it was a Man City win for sure. So good for Leeds for showing something that they have not shown at all this season. And I was impressed with that.
Yeah, I also have to mention, because when you said that, I think against any other team, to be 100% honest, I don't think Bielsa changes much. But I think that halftime talk, he definitely changed. You can see them sitting back, each of them not pressing the ball.
Well, yeah.
Now playing man to man. And I think that because it was Pep, almost like Bielsa kind of wanted to say, like, you're not the only great Spanish manager in the Premier League. And Pep kind of understood that. So
Spanish speaking, he meant to say.
Bielsa's not Spanish?
Argentinian?
He's Argentinian.
He's Argentinian?
I think
well,
so.
Spanish speaking.
There we go.
Then
probably.
I honestly thought he's not from Spain. Are you sure?
Yeah.
Shit. I thought he was from Spain this entire time.
Well, that changes everything.
That actually doesn't change anything for me.
He's not a good manager.
That doesn't change anything. I think it's still that.
Yeah, of course.
That maybe that international type.
He was born in Rosario, Argentina.
There you go. Moving along, next game, Chelsea Brighton. I know for the Ezards on this podcast, looking at this Champions League semifinal, guys, we got Chelsea, Real Madrid, PSG, and Manchester City. Could there be a worse group of 4 teams that we're going to have to watch in the Champions League? Dad, what do you think?
No.
Okay, we need to calm down.
I know Cam, you're a Man City fan. I'm saying for me,
I was even
these are probably my 4 least favorite teams in the world.
Okay, I was going to say
there's nothing to like about them. You know, you could go into your politics with 2 Middle Eastern dictatorships that own 2 of the clubs. plus you have Real Madrid and everybody hates them. The big money from the Russian oligarch for the other team. Like, I don't even know if I'll watch any of them.
Yeah.
That's just disrespectful.
Like, it's just
Go
terrible.
ahead. We're ripping on your team, so you can fight back a little bit here. What do you got?
No, all I was going to say was I'm fine with this.
Human
but
rights don't matter. Is that what
to
you're
say,
saying?
no. To say that these are the 4 worst teams is absolutely bonkers because 2 years ago it was PSG, Bayern, Olympique Lyon, and who was the 4th team?
I don't mean worst as in like bad soccer teams. Obviously, these teams are good. No, I mean
Okay, then I don't really care what you guys say. I don't care about the politics around it.
Oh, there you go.
That doesn't really matter to me. I just watch good soccer.
Coach Cam, actually got another question for you on Brighton. So it's pretty clean. And Brighton again, brother Keegs. I'm sure you're watching them on Monday. I saw a bit of their game. Ton of chances.
I guess your question.
Pardon me.
Can I guess your question?
Yeah. I sent you guys the questions, but yeah.
I only look at my own, but I was just gonna kind of guess it as a joke. I'm gonna assume your one question was, Cam, why would you put yourself in a position where you're betting against Brighton and you need a positive result from betting against Brighton? What's the one rule of betting on this podcast? And I didn't want to say anything when you told me you had Everton over Brighton. I didn't want to say anything to jinx it, but I already wrote down minus 25.
Yeah, never depend on the Monday game. We're always like, oh yeah, I just need the Monday game to go well, and we always lose money on it.
That's a great rule, but that wasn't even. That's a great rule, but that wasn't even what I was referring to. I was saying you can never bet against Brighton.
There you go. No, Cam, I was going to say this Brighton team, I thought Mopai was the striker for them, but he just doesn't score enough. This is a team that's one striker away from, I honestly think, challenging, could be the surprise package next season, challenging for Europe. Who's the striker? Who's out there that they can go grab? You have any thoughts? Anyone in the Prem, outside? You're the resident striker. What you got?
Yeah. This was a tough one because I was trying to look for strikers that maybe leaving their club. I don't know. It doesn't look like Brighton's going to be a powerhouse sending in top money to steal strikers from teams.
Holland.
What about that?
Holland, yeah.
But so I was going through. I was thinking about that.
Van Wolfswinkel.
Van Wolfswinkel.
I was actually, and Keegan might actually like this, and this is no joke. Actually, I was thinking a striker like Daniel Mallon. And this is no joke at all. Daniel Mallon is 21. He just seems like the player that it's a little bit taller, stronger than Mopai, same pace. He scored a ton of goals in the Eredivisie. He seems like an absolute player of that, exactly like that they can sweep up because it's not expensive. And then they can kind of mold into because they're a good attacking team.
Yeah.
Right, and we've been all over the expected goals, except I don't know. I actually don't even know how the expected goals work, Keegan. I don't know where Brighton's getting these expected goals. I guess it's from chances created because it's not actually from them scoring goals because they're having trouble actually scoring goals. I think a main striker, like you said, Liam, Daniel Mallon, a player like Daniel Mallon, because I was trying to think. There's no point of picking someone up like William Jose, who's 28 that Wolves pick up. I think that's ridiculous. Picking up an older target player like that, I don't think is going to do them well. A younger, fast, still something to prove, up and coming striker. I think Daniel Mallon will be an absolute perfect fit for them.
You see, I was actually going to go almost the complete opposite way and bring Glenn Murray back.
Geez.
Bring Glenn Murray back.
God,
He's the one scoring goals for them.
No.
I
thought you were going to say Jamie Tart.
Jamie Tart, yeah.
No.
Yeah, I don't know. Mallon scored a lot in the Eredivisie, but you know who else scored a lot in the Eredivisie?
Van Wolfswinkel.
Yeah, Johan Bach, who they signed, and it didn't quite work out for them. But
yeah,
that's a decent show.
Yeah, I don't know.
And hey,
I was thinking
it'll happen.
Yeah, or even because that second player I was thinking of was Tammy Abraham from Chelsea. If they were able to somehow, I don't know how that would work, to be honest, but he's another young striker. Right? He's a young striker that was, never played.
Maybe they'll get Jesse Lingard on loan.
I think
like
another Chelsea striker, if Giroud were to go there, going against what Cam said, maybe an older guy. I mean, they're already creating the chances. They just need someone to poke it in. Maybe maybe Giroud doesn't have the best goal scoring record, but
I
just
that.
think
Can't be worse than
that's a little,
Mobai.
yeah, that's true. I just think like I don't know, like that's a little more short term. I don't think that Giroud has that many seasons left in him. Whereas
of course
getting a player like Malin or Tammy Abraham, like a younger up and coming striker,
Yeah, but if they get
I'd
a young
agree.
a little
good
more
guy,
beneficial.
he's just going to get sold to a big team, so we'll only have 1 or 2 seasons in him for Brighton anyway. But of
Yeah,
course,
but
yeah,
then you're making more money to buy
Yeah,
another
no,
striker,
fine.
I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion. So.
no, you're definitely right. It's good to buy young. All
Yeah,
right.
but just a sec, I want to pick
Yeah,
that up a bit.
go ahead.
So I kind of liked Keegan's point of getting like a proven player like Giroud, because if you're a team like Brighton, and you could kind of count Sheffield United for this, is their record signing was Brewster this year. Wasn't
Yeah.
a record signing?
That's true.
What's the other striker that they bought last year that
Musset?
didn't play?
Was it Mousset they bought?
Musset.
Yeah, I think he was a
Musset.
record signing. So they've had 2 record signings of younger
Youngsters.
players that just haven't worked out. Maybe
Yeah, that's
maybe it
also
is
true.
you do take a punt on an experienced guy like a Glenn Murray or a Giroud.
Yeah, is
Well, I
Ricky
think
Lambert
Murray's doing
available?
fine
Is
with
he kicking
Trigger.
around still?
Charlie Adam.
Bonnie? Has anyone heard from Bonnie?
William, yeah,
Oh yeah, Charlie
but he
Austin.
wasn't
that's
provenly
it, yeah.
good though.
Yeah,
Charlie Austin.
Charlie Austin. Yeah, all these guys. Gale's probably looking for a new team next year.
Could you imagine if you had St. Maximum, Bonnie, and from Wolves, Traore all on the same team, like the size of the arms and muscles. that would
And
be on
Antonio.
legs and that.
You have to throw
Antonio.
Miguel Antonio in there too. Yeah, all muscle team.
Put those 4 guys on the wall. Like it would
Yeah.
stretch like their
Jeez, they just
thighs.
be-
It would just stretch the whole
The ball would pop. It would try and go between their legs, and the ball would just pop.
Jeez.
Yeah, they would be a good American football team. All right, Tottenham, Southampton. The only thing I have for this, and we've been saving a little bit, is we do have Dad on the pod. Mourinho. Well, Ole said that if my players or if my son went down like Young Min's son did, I don't know if it was supposed to be a son pun, but it worked out. My son did what that son did, then I wouldn't feed him. Keegan, I don't know if you remember. I don't believe Dad ever declined to feed us, but I also don't remember going down like son did, and I definitely wouldn't have done that. So I don't know, Dad, if we had pulled that, would you have taken the dinner plate and taken it away from us?
Well, I probably wouldn't have taken the dinner plate away from you guys, I'd have to say. But yeah, I think there definitely would have been a little bit of talk on the bike ride home from the soccer fields.
Yeah.
You know, about like, what the heck is that? So, I mean, I think at least you guys got to watch me play a little bit in Kenora, and I don't think I ever did that. So I'd like to think that maybe you learned from my example. But yeah, I don't know. I just think that I can't see you guys doing that, and I don't know if you've ever done anything to have your dessert or dinner taken away. That's a pretty
dessert.
harsh thing.
I could see
Yeah, maybe dessert.
being
Yeah,
taken
it could
away.
be dessert. Yeah. So, but no,
I think-
I think you guys were well fed.
I think in our house it was actually the opposite. I think it was Kieran would be at the dinner table for hours because he hadn't finished his dinner and he couldn't move on, and he was fine with that. Just pushing his peas around the plate, playing, making faces, and
Oh yeah, that's true. Kieran would, okay, well, you're not getting dessert. You go, that's fine. I'm full. Well, but then if you want dessert later, you're gonna have to eat the rest of your dinner first. Yeah, okay, no problem. That's what I'll do.
Oh man,
Right.
I couldn't win with him.
No,
Too calm of a kid.
but he was true to his word though. He would go back and eat his dinner first before he had the dessert. So
Meanwhile, I
Can't
was throwing
complain.
tantrums.
yeah,
Level-headed Kieran. All right. Yeah, good stuff. Villa, Man City. So Cam, we've been kind of talking, and I know you kind of weighed in on this a little bit. City, it's tough to tell what their best lineup is because it's tough to tell. Like, they haven't really needed to win a game, and you've never had the sense. I know they've had Champions League knockout games, but you've never had the sense in these second legs that they're in trouble. What does their best 11 look like? I think we know the back line. What does their best attack look like?
Okay, I just want to make sure we reiterate. I'm just gonna
Sterling's out
go
of
through
form.
it was a
Yeah, go
little
ahead.
tough one for me. I would still have, like, obviously Ederson, and yeah, like you said, the back line I think is pretty solidified. I think it's Ederson, Cancelo, Diaz, Stones, and Kyle Walker. The midfield, the Rodri, it's going to be just in front of them with Kevin De Bruyne and Ilkay Gundogan. And then the front three is tough. Because I don't think Jesus, and obviously not Aguero now, I don't think they make it. So I'm not sure. I know this was a while ago where there were arguments about City's best lineup as a recognized striker or whatever that. I remember that argument. I don't whoever was arguing that it was for Jesus and Aguero, I don't think it's either of them. Riyad Mahrez is for sure. I think Riyad Mahrez
he's been doing well.
They're one of their best wing players. Phil Foden as well would be up top. I still think Raheem Sterling. I don't know.
I agree. It's got to be Sterling. If you're playing the Champions League final tomorrow, you pick Sterling.
Yeah, I think it's Sterling. Yeah, I think it's those three up top. I watched Bernardo Silva. I give him so much credit. The work he does, he's unbelievable. His stamina is unbelievable. His work rate is great. But I saw him on the Champions League game. I don't know. He's just doesn't do it for me. He's like identical to Riyad Mahrez, just not as 1v1. I don't know.
I think he's more like James Milner than Riyad Mahrez.
So like they're both left-footed. They both are just would dribble out players, but he never really gets by players. He just dribbles like near them and then goes around, whereas Mahrez actually can push it by players. So that's why I went with Mahrez over Bernardo Silva. But yeah, I think it has Raheem Sterling and Phil Foden. And it's definitely not Aguero. Unbiasedly, not Jesus. Biasedly, Jesus is. I still think he's absolutely just atrocious. He shouldn't be on City. Brighton, if you're listening, Brighton managers, buy Gabriel Jesus because he'd be a player that fit on that team. Yeah, I think it's those. Yeah. Okay. Well, then that's not even good enough for Brighton. Then I'm fine with that. But yeah, I think it has those front three. So.
All right. Yeah, I think that's pretty fair, Cam. I think that's probably their best lineup at the moment. Yeah. I know outside of get a striker in there, I thought Aguero would come back a little healthier and a little quicker, but yeah, I think you're right with that one. Yeah. Just on Villa, I haven't really been paying attention to them since Grealish went out. Sandy, I know he's on your team. Any update on the Grealish watch here? Or can we move it along?
He's not playing this week, so I'm doubling down on my take from last week. Just not going to play again this year. But if he does, watch out.
If he does, watch out. Sandy's back in fantasy.
I'll be back on Villa as soon as Grealish is back too. But
all right. From one West Midlands team to another, and we buried this one, but I was so excited about this one, Keegs. How about West Bromwich Albion 3-0 over Southampton? 5-2 against Chelsea? 2 wins in a row. I know that Liam, don't get too excited, but is this the greatest of great escapes, Keegan? Don't say it. Come on, give me something.
Well, I mean, they have scored 8 goals in the past 2 games, and they've scored 28 goals all season. So, I mean, if they were to keep that pace up for the remaining couple games, it'd probably at least double their goals scored. So, hottest attacking properties in the league over there. And I just dropped Yang before all this happened, so that was a bit of a blunder. So I mean, the only problem is the fact that I said last week they were basically screwed. They won, but so did Newcastle, so they basically made up no ground. I guess so I mean, doesn't matter if they win 3-0 and look absolutely convincing. It's still pretty much the same position as last week. Still got 2 winnable games though. So I mean, I think if Newcastle does, I'll give you what you want to hear. I think they have a shot. Their shot is Newcastle doesn't win a game this season, somehow get upset by Sheffield towards the end there, and then West Brom's 8 points back. They beat Leeds, they beat Wolves, Villa, and then they got Leeds last game of the season. They beat Leeds, and there you go. West Brom stays up.
Isn't this a winnable game for them though, Keegan? Because Leicester, aren't they tanking like their usual tank at this time of the year?
Yeah,
could be. I mean,
no,
it could be. I mean,
All their players are out partying. Didn't you hear that? 3 of their
Yeah,
players
honestly, guys,
missed last week for
Yeah.
COVID breach because they went to a party.
That is just the silliest thing you could do. I honestly think West Brom in their form at 6.0 against a Leicester team that's tanking is a bit of a mess. I think that's a fantastic bet, and I'm going to be hammering West Brom.
Yeah, let's do it. And then they'll win this week, and then Allardyce will be crowned the greatest of all greats, and we'll probably have to invite him onto the pod to celebrate.
Well, yeah, I would love that.
I can't believe you didn't give West Brom a little bit more love here, because like you're giving minimal love to Fulham. So there's a possibility for Fulham, but West Brom have a game in hand on Fulham. And if they win, they'll pass Fulham on points. So wouldn't they have the exact same?
But then they'd still be relegated.
But won't they have a better chance than Fulham?
And as we all know, games in hand do mean an automatic 3 points. So put that in the bank already.
Put that in the bank. That's what that means. But I still, here's the scenario, because there's about 7 weeks left. The scenario is going to play out like this. There's going to be a chance where West Brom is going to be 2 points from Newcastle. Fulham's going to be 3 points from Newcastle. Fulham's going to beat Newcastle on the final day. We're going to cheer. West Brom's going to win the final day and overlap both of them. And West Brom's going to get in, and Newcastle and Fulham are going to go down.
Could happen, Cam. Could happen. I like that.
Think about that, because West Brom's, because that extra 3 points is going to put the 1 point ahead of Fulham. So
it really just comes down to whether or not Newcastle beats Sheffield. Because if they win that extra game, they're probably safe.
I love this. I hope it gets even tighter in the well, it's not super tight right now. It's a bit of a gaps opening up, but I hope it gets super tight. I love the last day relegation race.
How about this, Keegan? Sorry, if West Brom wins this game against Leicester, how big of a shot do they have then?
Then we're throwing a party next.
We're throwing a party next week if
It's
West Brom
so far on that it's guaranteed to happen if West Brom win this game.
Yeah, if they win this game,
if they players will show up.
Yeah.
Barney's gonna be in the pod next week, boys.
Madison and Perez all show up.
If they win this game, if they win this game, I'd probably say with their form, I'd probably actually tell you that they're the favorites to stay on.
Wow. Well, then they've come a long way. All right, boys, that was a long banter sesh. Let's get on to the bets. I was plus 70 last week, boys. Leeds came in big for me, so I've got my bets that I'm going to pull up here. Yeah, I'm liking this. I mean, it's going to be a long slate, so we're going to be waiting forever for these to pay out, but we'll give them out for you guys here, and yeah, hopefully you get on them. What do I got here? All right. Starting off in the Everton-Tottenham game, I just feel like this has been a traditionally close game over the years. I don't trust either team to win, so I'm going to go with the draw. $5 on the draw. 3.5 is a pretty good number for that. I backed Newcastle last week. I'm backing them again. I don't know when I'm going to learn. It seems like I bet always on West Ham when they lose, and I never bet on them when they win. I'm going Newcastle again, guys. I think they keep it going at home, and I think West Ham has been begging to trip up a little bit. If there's a way that we can bet that West Ham goes up 3-0 and fails to win, then I think we should find that, because they've been up 3-0 in their last 3 games, and it's ended 3-3, 3-2, 3-2. So that would be interesting. That if we could find those odds, maybe chuck a 20 cents on it or something. So yeah, I've got Newcastle over West Ham. I'll get back to the Wolves one later. I've got a parlay with them. Actually, no, I've got it now. I'm parlaying Arsenal to beat Fulham. I just don't see where the next win is coming from Fulham. I'm parlaying Arsenal to beat Fulham with Wolves and Sheffield United under. $10 on that one. I like that one a lot. Pardon me. Yeah. Let's move it along. I got $5 on Brighton to beat Chelsea. I like betting Brighton as an underdog, Keegs. I'm hoping you jump on that one with me. $5 on that. West Brom, of course I'm rolling with them. $10. That's $60 I'm going to have in my bank account next week. I love that bet. $10 on West Brom. And lastly, I'm going $20 on Tottenham to beat Southampton. Southampton are so far on the beach that you just ordered another Bellini. They've got their flip-flops on, so Tottenham, I think, after tying against Everton, going to have something to prove. They bounce back a little bit. So $20 on that one. So I'm moving some money, feeling myself after a big week. That's what I got. Brother Keegs, what do you got?
I got some reconsidering to do. I kind of like I do like West Brom. That number is good, but I didn't have it included. I got West Ham. I got them over Newcastle. I think Newcastle would probably do for a for a bad game. And then I got the Chalk City United parlay, $10 on that. Just about even money. And then I'm going to go over Arsenal Fulham. I think it's above even money, and I think that's a good spot. Both of them have done like 4 of their last 5 games have gone over, so I think that's a pretty good spot there. And then I originally walked into this podcast with 5 on Everton over Tottenham, but I'm going to call an audible on that because Calvert-Lewin should be out for the game. So you know what, I'm going to throw the exact opposite, throw 5 on Tottenham. And then my bit of a long shot one here, 2-team parlay, Fulham and over 2.5 against Arsenal at 9.0 odds, parlayed with Brighton over Chelsea, 250 on that, pays out $135. I mean, it's only 2 things, so it's bound to happen.
There you go.
And then I don't know, I might as well throw 5 on West Brom. I like that spot too.
Thank you, Brother Keegs. Coach Cam, what's it gonna be?
I'm gonna go with, to start, Spurs first game. Spurs and West Ham, 5 pays 22. I'm gonna start with that. I'm gonna do a 2 goal scorer parlay, Heung-min Son in the first game, and Lacazette, because I know Lacazette's been in form lately. He scored in the league game, and then he just scored today 2 times, actually, I'm pretty sure, in the Europa League. So he's on fire. 5 pays 25. I did a big parlay. I did mostly all the favorites, to be honest. I did Wolves, Arsenal, United, Liverpool, Chelsea, City, and Leicester. 5 pays 126.
Whew.
I had a Cam special, but I only want to bet $20, and I ended up switching because I don't want to have 2 risky bets. I just want to have 1 really risky bet. So I'm not going to do a Cam special. I'm actually going to cross it out. I'm going to bet instead Brighton, West Brom, and Burnley. I'm going to parlay all 3 of those teams. 5 pays $1,701.
There you go.
So, all 3 of those underdogs
special too.
That is a Cam special, yeah. I don't. The one that's really, I actually think that Burnley and West Brom could pull it out. For some reason, I think that Chelsea's gonna beat Brighton, but Keegan said it. Never bet against Brighton, so I'm gonna go
Not
against.
The worst,
and if
not the worst 5 to 1,700 bet I've ever seen.
Yeah. So those 3 teams just have to win, and if they don't, my long parlay has the other 3 teams winning. So
there you go.
I have both.
So
I guess
one tie basically screws you.
a tie in those 3 games. Yeah, but I don't know. I can't really see a tie in those 3 games. I don't know.
No.
I feel
Ties
like
never happen in soccer.
Yeah, they never do.
All right, Coach
anyway,
Cam, fair enough.
That's it. Those 4 bets, and maybe I walk away with $1,700, and you guys in the pod, in our chat, I'll be definitely ringing you guys up. So
1,700. What a legend!
What a legend!
Sandy, getting back on the horse. Let's hear this new strategy.
Yeah. Well, like I said, my first bet's actually Everton, so that not much new going on there. I would say I gotta find it. I just had it, but I lost it. My first bet's not Everton, on my list at least. If I was going by this, it would be. But my first bet's gonna be West Ham, and then I'm gonna bet Josh Maja to score. That's just kind of an emotional bet. Void if he doesn't start, obviously. At like 4-1, I saw that number. I was like, yeah, he's due for one. Then I'm gonna go Everton. Like I kind of said earlier, I've been too invested in Everton of late. I don't want to be just sitting there when I wake up Saturday morning. Or what is this? Is this tomorrow? Is that tomorrow's game?
Mm-hmm.
Everton's tomorrow, yeah.
Oh, cool. I'll watch it then, yeah. So I don't want to be sitting there tomorrow afternoon watching Everton win a game and being like, damn, should have bet him. So I'm just gonna make sure that doesn't happen.
Mhm.
And I'm gonna go a little West Brom action. I'm liking West Brom too. Just a little fun West Brom bonus bet in case people are wondering what the odds are for them to escape relegation. Actually, before the pod, when I was sitting around waiting for Cam to show up, I did the deep dive on West Brom, and I was definitely a lot more bullish on them than kind of Keegan was showing there. So I put a little tenner on there. It's like at a 10-1 right now or something. So
Nice.
if you're liking the West Brom, go sprinkle that one. It's looking all right.
Might have to.
Yeah, after this week they play Villa and Wolves, so just two insanely winnable games. So like if they can cover 6 points here, when they win, Newcastle loses, I think it's on.
Yeah, I'll sprinkle that. I told you if they win this game, they're promoted. So you're basically betting 11, or they're not promoted. They're not relegated. So you're basically betting 11. He's just found the enhanced number for this game.
Very well, Sandy.
Well done, Sandy.
As everyone scrambles to their phones to bet it.
The odds are moving. They heard us.
Yeah.
They tapped our
wiretap.
Yeah.
And the last thing I got, I know you're saying don't trust the Monday game, but what do you think about trusting is it Wednesday or Thursday, the last games here? I'm
Thursday.
trusting the Wednesday games. I'm going to go with a little Spurs City parlay to close things out.
There you go. Last but not least, Dad, you won money last time out. Traditionally not a big bettor, more for the analysis, but I know you got a few bets put together. What are you throwing on?
Well, I got West Ham to beat Newcastle. Newcastle doesn't have to win, so they're not going to. They only seem to really win when they really have to.
Fair enough.
So I got $5 on West Ham to win. I have $5 on Fulham win or draw over Arsenal. Arsenal played great today, and they were away in Europe. And when they come home from Europe, they usually play crappy. So Fulham have something to play for. Arsenal don't have anything to play for in the league. So I'm going to Fulham with the winner or draw because I think they'll get some sort of result. But being Fulham, they're not good enough to win it, even though they need it. So that's why I had the draw in there. Leeds Liverpool, I'm picking the over just because I think that there's going to be a lot of goals. Leicester West Brom. I sent you that bet before, Liam, so I'm not jumping on the bandwagon. I think West Brom is the team on the way up. I think Leicester, with their troubles with discipline in their squad and the fact that they're probably going to lose in the FA Cup this weekend to Southampton, and they're going to be even lower morale, that I think West Brom is going to beat them next week. So I have a parlay of Man United to win or draw, Liverpool win or draw, West Ham to win, and City to win. And all those games, I got $5 on them.
There you go.
Yeah. And I have one other bet here. I am going to pick the over on Allison's mustache outlasting Sandy's mustache.
Over the lane.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's good. I like that.
Even money that pays.
Even money,
Yeah.
Okay, I'll put $5 on that. Allison will have his longer than Sandy.
Well, I mean, in this case,
It has to be just straight mustache, no beard with it, just the straight mustache.
I'm not letting you win any money off my back. I'll go.
He'll go for forever. He's got no one to impress. He's quarantining.
Yeah.
Not for long. We were running around Kelowna, this mustache. Okay. Not phased.
All right.
What's the
that was
over under for when you trim it, Sandy, and you end up, oh shit, this side's too short. Oh, this is too short. Oh, this one, and then you end up with a Hitler mustache.
Yeah.
No, I'm gonna go for the Fu Manchu actually.
Oh, that'd be a good one.
Shave the middle.
Yeah.
Oh, love it. All right, Brother Keegs, Coach Cam, Sandy, Podfather, Dad. Thank you guys for coming on. We did a long one today, but I like our bets, boys. I think we're keeping rolling, keeping that momentum on to the end of the season. Before we go, I did want to shout out. So I've been listening to the football betting podcast. Two Toms, they're both English, seem like great guys. I've been chatting with them on Twitter. And last week they gave out a 6-team parlay that the odds were 125 to 1. I sprinkled like $1.50 on it, ended up winning $200. And yeah, been chatting with them on Twitter. So I've been listening to their pod. They've got a lot of info on the lower leagues. And I know we've been following, I don't know, lower leagues, especially with Sunderland Till I Die. And I got to stay with them with their input and info. I've been following it a lot more, and it's fun following the lower leagues. I actually know a little bit about the relegation and promotion battles down there. So yeah, they seem like good guys, have a good pod. So if you guys listening and you guys here want to check that one out, they give out some good winners too. So there you go, the football betting podcast. And yeah, with that,
Nice.
football betting podcast, banter bets and BPL podcast. If you guys are following those bets, you guys are going to win a ton of money. So thanks for listening, guys, and good luck betting football, soccer over the next week here. Thanks. See ya.